Another fish died today. I'm not too sure why this is happening because I've lost four in a week. I know a month ago I had the setting on 25, which is how it's supposed to be on, and I turned it up a little bit to 27 because I thought they might like warm water. But maybe that's the reason why. So I've turned it back down to the 25. But yeah, to lose that many in such a short time. I mean, I've got a feeling that well, one of them died in a net and one of them died. I don't know how she died in that, but and the other one got, I think the other one got attacked. But yeah, this one, I don't know, it was just floating on a leaf. This one was one of the babies. So this was, I had four identical males from the first six babies that were born. They were born 3 days after I bought them, so sort of beginning of middle of February. So yeah, it's only August now, so they should have survived more than, is that 6 months? Yeah, they should have survived more than 5 months. But anyway, it doesn't matter because I like my fish to be all different, and those ones were all like identical. And yeah, I know I can't have them too different because I feel like they get attacked when they're too different. But I now have three identical white males, two female versions of them from the same set, white, but they're more see-through if they're female. Like they have a tail that's coloured, but only the tip is coloured. The middle section of their tail is see-through. And then I have two sort of see-throughy orange ones with sort of an orange tail and a sort of see-throughy, whitey, orangey base stomach. But yeah, they're identical. I think they're probably from the same set. When one of the black ones died, I went to go off and get one, and I saw one that looked very similar to the other one that I got, and I thought that would be safer in numbers, so I got two of them. And then I've got two sort of silvery ones. One's got just a white tail, and one's got a sort of white and spotted tail. Yeah, white and black spotted tail. And then I have the baby from the second pregnancy, which is like it's like half white, but then half with black spots because the father was very dark and black with orange. So it's kind of like a mixture of the white and that one. This is probably the prettiest one that I've got in there. But yeah, and then I've got the four. Well, I've got three orange. The male's actually red, not orange. It's red with a black tail, and then three oranges. So yeah, two orange, one reddish, and one male trichter. But yeah, now I've got the babies. I've got four babies, and I think there's about five or six, probably six now, six or seven, even seven guppies. There are still two more. I was trying to catch them. Saw one of them, but I couldn't catch it. They hide. You can only really catch them when they're on the surface. The problem is when they go to the surface to get air, they're more likely to be eaten by the other group. So I don't know if I don't save them, basically they will both just be eaten by the group. But yeah, now that there's one less male in there, it's actually better because you're supposed to have a lot more females than males, and I've got six females and four males. So yeah, it's still actually quite an okay-ish number. But yeah, I don't know what's going to happen in a few weeks' time when I add the babies in there. But yeah, anyway, I have been thinking about, I've been thinking about fishing actually just the other day. You know, I don't understand why people fish because it seems like a mindless thing. I mean, if you're trying to fish because you're trying to get a big fish to eat, then I suppose that's okay. But yeah, even when you do that, you know, you probably end up catching a whole bunch of little ones that you just throw back. And technically all you've done is just pierced a hole in their throat because a lot of them, when they bite onto, you know, they bite onto it, they get a hole in their throat, and you might have not actually killed them because they might still be alive, but when you put them back in the water, I think a lot of them do die because they've got a hole in their head. You know, if I was to ask a fisherman why he fishes, and if he was to generally say, oh, it's a bit of fun, you know, how would they like it if I turned around and said, well, I'm going to get a hook and I'm going to shove it in your head, and I'm going to do it because I find it funny, or it's a bit of fun. You know, how would they feel if I told them, if I said that I'm God, I'm a different species, and I thought it was fun to put a hook in some water and allow you to bite it, knowing that you're going to be you're going to have a hole in your skull or the back of your throat or something. And then I just threw you back into the water just because that was my bit of fun. I think they wouldn't like it if I said that to them. And I feel like I can say it to them, because it's like, well, you do it to those fish, so why should I treat you any differently in the way that you treat others? If you don't like the idea of being put in a cage or put in a prison, then why would you take a bird and shove that in a small prison? An aviary is nice. I like an aviary. It's quite nice to see them. They can fly about and do stuff. But yeah, sometimes you just feel sorry for animals, because you could see like 30 birds in such a small cage, and they're just making so much noise that you just want to leave and get out. And it's just like, well, these are real souls. What happens when these souls die and go on to become different animals? Are they still going to hear the ringing? Like, I feel like if I was to try and picture or try and remember my life as Dala, a cave woman, I feel like I can hear a lot of stuff, which is ooh, 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 like monkeys making sounds. I feel like language wasn't actually invented when a Dala was here. I feel like I can still hear the ape-like sounds. And I think we did come up with words during my lifetime. I think a lot of change did happen. And we did have, I don't know, different sounds for snake or bear, or warning sounds. And I think I came at the point where language hadn't been invented, but we started to invent it. I don't know what age that would have been, but yeah, that's something that I want I was just thinking about it now. If, if they think it's unfair, like, I don't know what's going on, but there's a lot of people here, and I know that life is about competing to be at the top. And then when you became human, you had God, and you had rules and stuff, and you need rules to keep society in order, and to stop people from being uncivil and just attacking each other. You would have had tribes at one stage where people would have lived in fear of others being attacked, and you needed to have rules to stop violence from happening. And the rule was that, oh, there is a God, and God isn't going to like you if you start murdering people. But yeah, we're getting into a situation now where we don't murder people. It's very wrong to do that, but at the same time, the population is just getting bigger and bigger, and it's hard to know how to control it if murder is just going to piss off the creator and make you a bad person. And yeah, I feel like suicide is always the best way, or weeding out the small. I mean, technically they don't actually die; it's an illusion. I was also thinking, okay, this another white one has died, and if that represents, if I see it in a bigger scale, and I see the fish tank representing bliss and whatever it is in the light, I don't really know. What happens when gods in the light die? And I'm thinking, well, actually, I know exactly what happens when souls leave the light. So if the fish tank represents the light, and if the net that I've got in the corner with all the babies, the tiny little babies, represents the souls that are on earth, like people on earth, they're so small and you can't catch them. And well, if you're a god, your soul has become so big, so much memory, so much data inside of you. If all things here is just noughts and ones, light and dark mixed together to form atoms, to form this, souls are in a similar way, just lots and lots of data of what makes a person a person. And okay, when you're a human, things change because you lose your memory, hence you in a way lose your data. So that's the difference between me and my higher self. My higher self has the data of all the things that she's done in her past life, whereas my mortal self doesn't, because I've lost that information. I've lost that memory. But it's still there. My higher self has created the timeline. But yeah, what happens if that fish tank represents souls in the light? What happens when they die? And I think that too is an illusion, because they're not actually dead. They're probably just souls that have found a planet in this physical world, this physical realm. And yeah, they're probably just having kids there, but to the light, they're going to be seen dead. Like if I was once in the light and I could communicate with other souls that were in the light, right now my higher self is here and in the net. Basically, I'm trapped myself in the net with all the crab like babies that are on earth that are really, really small and really hard to catch, which, there definitely was two more the guppy babies in that thing, but I couldn't catch it. But by having a physical world, the earth is, it grows lizards, it grows dinosaurs, and it captures the soul. So the matrix catches the souls, which are really, really tiny little things in comparison to how much soul, how big the soul of the creator has created. And it's yeah, the matrix does the sorting, does the juggling, creates some sort of temporary death, and then brings the souls back to life. But yeah, there's a competition within earth to want to be the best, but it's hard to know how to be the best when there's so many people, and you want to be, inclusive and include all people. No one wants to be treated, no one wants to be murdered, and no one wants to go through suffering. But at the same time, how then would you know who's the best and who's the worst? If I suppose you could say by money, but money doesn't actually make you happy. Money isn't actually what's, I feel like a lot of the singers might have actually had poor upbringings, or poor, or not actually had that much money to do things. They might, and that's actually encouraged them to do more. Not having money has made them do more songs, or work harder to gain some, to gain more, songs. Or if you keep someone poor, you make them work harder. And I I'm not rich, and I feel like I'm constantly trying to connect with people, trying to work out what people are doing. And I think if I just had lots of money and I probably wouldn't do this. I'd probably just buy a big mansion somewhere and just spend all the time in a jacuzzi. Okay, would I actually do that? I don't know. I'd get kind of bored. But I wouldn't be. I probably wouldn't. I wouldn't have done the things that I've done in this song, because I'm looking at Christian videos. If I could avoid listening to Christian videos, I would, because I find them annoying and frustrating. But at the same time, by listening to them, I feel like I've created a stronger link with them, which is allowing a deception to be created, because people are that they're thinking about God and thinking what God is saying to them. But I think really it's actually what God is saying to me, and them being a template of me, are actually just picking up things that my higher self is saying to me, but they are thinking that they're God talking to them, and it's not. So I feel like there's a lot of confusion there. But yes, I am just trying to see things on a bigger scale, to try and imagine how the spiritual realm works. And yeah, it's also weird because some of the smartest people in the world don't even believe in reincarnation, or spiritual side of things. And they're not smart. They're just people who only want to see one side of things. God's not real, spiritual is not real. There's no such thing as a soul. You die, you end, and they don't want to know anything more. They don't care to know anything more. Um, but isn't that exactly what the Christians do? God is real. God is Jesus. God is this. I'm not willing to listen to anything else. This person thinks she's God, but she also doesn't believe in Jesus. Of course, I'm not going to bother looking on a channel. I'm not going to pay any attention. She's the fool. She's the donkey, or whatever. And and yeah, it's ignorance. It's all ignorance. And I think that everyone is so ignorant that they don't realize how ignorant that they are. But the thing is, though, there's a lot of liars out there. And just because there's a lot of liars out there, that doesn't mean that liars aren't capable of telling the truth, and it doesn't mean that occasionally you'll come across someone claiming to be God who is actually God. But yes, it's hard to know it's hard to know how to be the best. But I feel like, yeah, things will work out. But anyway, I'm trying to think about this timeline. My guess is that I'm going to go on to Big Brother on the Friday, the 29th. I don't know if there's going to be an episode on Saturday, because they're saying they're not doing Saturday episodes. So maybe the first episode will be on Sunday. So I'll go on Friday the 29th, and the first episode will be on Sunday. Then there'll be 7 weeks of, no, there'll be for until Halloween. On Halloween, that's my favorite day of the year. So maybe that should be the day where I dress up as God and tell everyone that I'm God, and then I'll give people 10 days to I'll tell my religion and my belief, and give people 10 days to see if they can believe it. And then on the 9th of November, And also Guy Fawkes Day. I've noticed if you take off the F, it says Wakes Day. So Guy Wakes Day. So, and that happens to be like 5 days after Halloween. So I tell people my religion, and then I start building it up. And after 5 days, a lot of people can start taking an interest, or there could be a side show where they bring it up and talk about, how there's actually people that believe. And then on the 9th, when it ends, it doesn't matter if I win or not. If I'm in the top six, I really don't care if I'm not the winner. But if I'm just maybe on the morning, I just get taken off and go somewhere else. I don't even care about winning. That's what annoys me about the American Big Brother. The American Big Brother, you've got people play to win, and I can't even watch it like that. I'm here to win it, and I'm trying to win the cash prize, and they just turn it into a game, and it just so annoying. Winning is absolutely not what I'm interested in. I mean, okay, I'd like the money because I'd like a nice house, um, but yeah, in winning, and just it's not about winning at all. It's about playing the game and getting people to know you. So it's really, it bugs me. I don't even want to watch the American version. I haven't seen any of the American versions, and I don't want to watch it because the fact that they turn it into a game just makes me, it kind of annoys me actually. But if I go into a second Big Brother that's maybe in America, maybe that's a sign that that should be done like a game, only it's not. I mean, I don't want it to be a game. It's my religion, it's my belief. But at the same time, if you turn it into a game, then or make it look like it's just a game, then you'll be making people question whether or not, you know, what everything is. Maybe I don't know. But for 7 weeks, I feel like there should be, when I enter into that on the 9th, there should be like 7 weeks of uh, maybe preaching during the day, um, and then what's it? Preaching during the day, and some sort of sacrifice show that just makes fun of me at night, and then after that leads up to Christmas. I don't know what's going to happen on Christmas, but um, maybe that's when I start talking about the angels, or maybe beforehand. I don't know, the singers, and maybe I start meeting them at that point. And I I don't know how long it's gonna plan on lasting, or something, but it could definitely heat up for that week. Um, and then the Grammys is on in February, so maybe that's when it ends.